Item on the agenda is the executive session. We're not in any executive session today. Can I get a confirmation of quorum?
Confirmed.
Next item on the agenda is the consent of the previous meeting minutes from 4/21 of 2025. Can I get a motion to approve the previous meeting minutes?
Yes, I motion to approve the previous meeting minute.
I will second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Next item on the agenda is any old business. Next item on the agenda is new business. I'd like to open it up for a public hearing for the resolution approving the series 2025 bonds for the golf course project of Great Eagle.
Before we open the public hearing, just to provide some quick context on this. So this is for Great Eagle 126 and Brook School Road. So there's two pieces to this project. One is the golf course. So they're going to be redoing their clubhouse, tearing that down, adding in new bays, a restaurant. And then there's the age targeted multifamily development with JC Hart. So it'll be a mix of like paired patio homes and traditional apartment units for age targeted seniors. The items on here right now for the public hearing, this first item is that so the first one is for the financing and commitments from the golf course itself. So there's two different items. And I believe we'll have to vote on both of these, right, Lisa?
Yeah, I think we have to vote on them separately and have a public hearing because there's two pieces. One is very clearly the golf course piece has a not to exceed 750,000 amount. And then the age targeted has a $7 million amount. And that's why they're split up in the narrative that you see. And these are both, as you guys have talked about this project, these are both going to be purchased as developer purchase bonds. So these are issued by the city, but they are purchased by the developer, and the developer bears all the risk with having these bonds. So there's not much hook on the city to have any issues.
So if you're comfortable, Janie, opening up the public hearing for 01 R07 or 01 R072125, we can open that up for a public hearing.
What is that again?
That is for the approving the golf course project. Yeah.
Okay, so I need to say that.
If you want to, yeah.
Can you repeat that again? Because I don't have that.
It is for EDC 01 R07 2125.
Okay, I'd like to open up for a public hearing for the EDC 01-R072125.
I motion to approve.
Any members of the public have any comments?
Yeah, I'll speak. I'm Matthew Brands, 9446 Ash Lake Lane. So I think there's a few things that the commission should clarify before voting on this. And the first one in my written comment, I think there should be clarity on how this is an economic development facility. A golf course, multifamily, it's not what I typically think of when I think of economic development, sort of either not economic development or on the fringe. And so I think I don't see it. So if the commission could clarify that or ask the city to clarify that. Second thing is clarity on what exactly the tax increment is here. Is over the next 25 years, how much tax are we losing? I see here the city's contribution is $455,000. That's tax increment. I just want to know that. I'm going to assume that's what the tax increment is. And I guess the rest of the $750,000 is paid by the golf course. I think we need clarity on that before you guys vote. And then third thing I wanted to comment on, the adverse competitive effect. I mean, I don't know a competing golf course, but so I don't really, have any opinion there. But I think we have 3 other golf courses this year, right? That's the 4th. And I mean, do we need a 4th golf course so bad that we need property tax incentives? I don't know.
This is, for clarification real fast, this is an existing golf course.
Correct.
Okay, so I'll try, is that all 4?
Can I finish?
Certainly.
So this is a deal to keep the 4th golf course instead of only having 3. And I mean, it's interfering with the free market. I mean, I don't know what's so bad with only 3 golf courses. And then where does this take us into the future if the next golf course wants a clubhouse, a restaurant? Are they just going to call us up and want us to subsidize that one too? And I mean, have you studied the demand for golf in Fishers? Do we need 4 golf courses for the next 25 years? Or are we just, is the next golf course going to fail and so on and so on? So I think there's a concern there that the commission should hopefully think about. So that's all I have to say.
Any other comments? Okay, if we can close the public hearing and then add some clarification. Can I get a motion? If you just close the public hearing, I'd like to close the public hearing. All right, so I will try to take these in order, starting with the word facilities and how that's used in the economic development law and state statute. So a facility is essentially an improvement that contributes to economic development. And when I say improvement, the word facilities can be an office building, it can be multi-family, it can be a road. It really is so broad to be any type of structural improvement as a facility under state law. When it comes to this golf course specifically, I think we have to look at a little bit of the history on this matter, and we can talk a little bit about the TIF too. But going back at least 3 years, perhaps even 4.
Yeah, it was 2021 was when this project first came forward. And Matthew, I think that maybe still further clarification, Gray Eagle Golf Course exists today. There's an existing clubhouse today that's getting torn down. But then the golf course is conveying part of their land to J.C. Hart. So there isn't an additional golf course. It's a re-improvement and a reinvestment into Gray Eagle Golf Course. And that's where those funds are going. So sorry, Jennifer.
No, that's great. And it actually came to us, not in the same form that it is now with the numerous improvements. It came to us because the property owners that have homes surrounding that golf course, together with the golf course, it's important to say that golf course is privately owned. So whoever owns that property can do as they will. Property owners around the golf course came to the city because there was conversation about the golf course shutting down or being redeveloped into other commercial improvements. And there was really a concern from the neighboring homeowners that it was going to hurt their property values if this golf course went away. So over multiple different changing structures to a deal, here we are 4 years later with a project that both the homeowners surrounding Great Eagle have been supportive of, as well as greater investment in the city in the form of a structure with this new, with the new clubhouse and the multifamily, which we still need here in Fishers. So as Lisa started the conversation saying, the nice part for the city is that the tax increment is really everything that's derived from those improvements, from the new improvements to the clubhouse, and then also to the multifamily to go into a better amenity for that community. And again, really for the entire community, but certainly something there that helps the neighboring property owners, not just the developers who are actually doing the project, all while keeping the city away from any risk because it's a totally developer-backed bond. As far as the increment goes,
everyone has their opinion on tax increment every time we use it. But it really is this. This is not about them not paying taxes. It's being able to use the taxes they are paying to come back to the redevelopment commission to pay debt service on the bonds that are being taken out to have these new improvements. I think that covers. Before
The city still gets the same base amount for the tax. So what they are currently, their assessed value is locked in, that'll stay. So the city's not going to lose that tax base. The increment generated, as we mentioned, goes to these improvements. And so it's
And
just.
the school referendum amount also comes up. So since Hamilton Southeastern School District has a referendum in place for the schools, that amount goes to the school district still as well. So the schools are receiving the exact same benefit that they would if it remained today.
So another way too, just as we always think about TIF, some people will argue that, hey, you're forgoing this money. Well, you're not forgoing money because the only way you have the increase in the taxes is if the development's done. If the development's not done, there's no increase to lose. Any questions?
In regards to the resolution approving the Series 2025 bonds for the Great Eagle Golf Course project.
I motion to approve the series 2025 bonds for the golf course project.
Second, all those in favor say aye. Okay, the next item on the agenda, I would like to open up a public hearing regarding the resolution for the Series 2025 C bonds for the multifamily.
Matthew Brands again, 9446 Ashley Claim. So this one, 4.8 million in tax increment, sounds like. Which, if I understand, that's 43% to the golf course, the rest to the developer. So you said the base assessed value doesn't change, but I think the project agreement says it does change because there's something in there about they tear down the clubhouse that exists. And then that's the new base assessed value, basically just the land. Well, the whole improvement is basically the majority of the property tax value, I assume. So I think the golf course will be paying very, very little taxes over the next 25 years. And then multifamily, what this one is mostly about, none of that exists right now. The base assessed value is just the land. But I think all the improvements are part of the tax increment. And I mean, you're right, we're not losing anything in the sense of the development doesn't exist yet, but since it will exist and it's entirely part of the tax increment, that's 200, 300 people using city services, paying no property tax. So I think those arguments aren't entirely the whole story. Oh, another thing I wanted to talk about here, 112 jobs with an annual payroll of not less than 1.8 million. That works out to $16,000 per job. And Gulfport, one we previously approved, says basically the same thing. And I see here the project is both of them combined. So that's the jobs for all of it. And I don't know if you're saying there's only 3 jobs at the multifamily, but it doesn't make any sense unless I'm misunderstanding what annual payroll means. $16,000 per job. So I think these job numbers are rather strange, and the commission should demand a breakdown of the actual full-time jobs, what they're paying. How many of those are there? I assume there's a bunch of part-time jobs being counted here. These aren't real jobs. So that's all I have to say.
Any other comments for the public hearing?
Let's close the public hearing.
So for Matthew's reference, there is a base assessed value. So every piece of property in Fishers has the base assessed value. that building that's on there right now, every building gets assessed as of January 1st of 2025. January 1st of 2026. So right now, that property does have value. That improvement, if you look on property tax cards, it has the breakdown of improvement and it has a breakdown of land. So it's assessed in two different ways. Both the improvement and the land are considered as part of the base assessed value that is put into the calculation to determine what the increment is. So that golf course, unless they tear it down today, it gets reassessed January 1st of 2026, which isn't their plan. Then it would somehow reset the base of that, but the increment doesn't come from the existing base. The increment comes from the improvements that they're going to do and the calculation of taking the assessed value per square foot of the new clubhouse, which is about 20,000 square feet. So the countywide average of this type of use is currently assessed at about $200 a square foot. You can reference that by looking through different property tax cards throughout the entire county to determine that that's the actual average. So you take that $200 a square foot, I mean, basic math, right? So $200 a square foot based off or times the total value and square footage of the new facility. That's how you get that new projected assessed value. Then taxes are applied to that. And that's how you get to the increment that is then pledged every year to go towards the repayment of the debt service. Those homeowners or residents within the development, however J.C. Hart structures their rents, people are still paying taxes. The taxes are going to that general improvement and not to, it doesn't just go away. It's not an abatement. Abatement means that we're actually completely foregoing any improvement for 100% for a portion of time. The base is there and it will be generated and it is captured. So people are paying taxes. But again, and if it's a policy conversation, which you and I have talked about before, happy to have that conversation offline and for us to bring in Mayor Fadness or to talk to your city council member if that's of interest to you. But that's, I don't know, Jennifer, if you have anything else you'd like to add.
No, I think that's really it. It's just that the taxes, even the increment, those taxes are still paid because that's what we use then to pay debt service for this improvement, for the vertical. So this is very different than an abatement.
And in the event that they don't actually construct the facility, they are required under this structure of the TIF and of these bonds that they have to make up the shortfall. So if the assessed value, if it instead comes back, the county says it's $190 a square foot instead of $200 a square foot, but they've pledged and they've issued debt for this. If there's a gap in their taxes paid versus what's actually owed on debt service, they are legally required to make up for the shortfall of that. So that's the perspective on that one.
Can I get a motion in regards to the resolution approving the Series 2025 C bonds for the multifamily project for Great Eagle?
I motion to approve the Series 2025 C bond for the multifamily project.
Second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting? Thank you.
Yeah.